Patrick Conrad of Conrad Construction, and we're in Portland, Oregon, and we specialize in residential remodeling. So I didn't know of the PSA process as a PSA process. I knew what design contracts were, and I knew that some builders were able to build that into their system, but we weren't technically a design build firm or thought of that way, and so I wasn't sure how to capture that and be able to get paid for our time. I knew that we were spending an absorbent amount of time. So the PSA process really opened my eyes to how to be able to add value to our product up front and show that we should be getting paid for that time, and how to separate ourselves from other contractors who may be offering free estimates, and show the difference between a well-defined estimate and someone who's just trying to bid a job to get a job. And the PSA has been able to increase our profits up front, bring in revenue that we didn't have before, and also make a smoother transition into the construction process so that we can have a smoother project all the way through. In the old way, we would always throw out a bid, and then we would get the job, and then we would kind of decide what we could afford in that bid. Then we would all of a sudden have to get the job rolling, and then we would just know that we're going to do this much work for this amount of money. With the PSA, we're starting with the whole schedule. We lay out a schedule. We're talking to them about finishes from day one. We're getting selections. We're bringing in all our subs. We're making multiple trips to the job, and we're going line by line. We're able to review it with the customer, make sure it is what they want. And then by the time we actually get there, we've already got a well-defined scope of work. We know what selections are. They're not deciding on the fly all the time. By the end of the job, we've been able to stay on schedule and stay on budget, which is highly important. When you're giving away free estimates, you have to understand that if you could never hire someone in your place to take that place and do that job. That means that if you're not valuing that time, that it'll never be valued in the future, and you will always be stuck doing that. And so when you decide to hire someone and put them in that place, if you make it to that position, then all of a sudden you've just added a huge bill on top of your monthly that you may not have accounted for, and that is going to be a huge burden on your bottom line. And you have to plan for it years in advance. If you've got jobs that take 6 months to a year, and it takes you 3 to 6 months to build that budget or get that job into production, that means you needed 2 years of planning to get to that point. I'm able to be with my family more and do the things like coaching their little league. At work, I'm less stressed out, and I'm able to focus on a higher level. You want to understand how much you need to make every day just to keep the company running, and you also want to understand how many jobs you have lined, and if you need to get more jobs, say a year and a half down the road, to make sure that you're always going to have the amount to cover your overhead to keep the business running, and to keep, ideally, to keep you making a profit at the same time. I spent 2 days working on a bid that I didn't get $1 for, and that happens over and over, and it's kind of expected. And all that time has to come from somewhere. We all get the same amount of time. We don't get any extra. And so it's how we spend it. And if we're spending all our time giving stuff away for free, it doesn't make a lot of time for us to make money or to have that valuable quality time with our family.